Recently, one of the most controversial and symbolic events in the global AI industry has unfolded. Rakuten AI 3, once hailed inside Japan as the country's most powerful homegrown large language model, came under intense fire just hours after launch, as serious allegations emerged that it was essentially a repackaged version of the open-source DeepSeek model from overseas. What was supposed to be seen as a key breakthrough in Japan's AI ambitions quickly turned into a full-blown credibility crisis, sparking fierce debate both within Japan and across the global tech community. So let's start from the root of the story and walk through how this so-called Japanese self-developed AI miracle collapsed almost overnight. Just a few days ago, on March 17, Rakuten Group held a high-profile launch event and dropped what was supposed to be a bombshell announcement, Rakuten AI 3. The company claimed that this was the largest and strongest domestically developed AI model in Japan, a 700 billion parameter system whose Japanese language capabilities supposedly outperformed GPT-4o. It was also presented as part of Japan's national AI push. The project had reportedly received 8.4 billion yen in support from Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, nearly 400 million RMB, specifically to help build a truly domestic AI model and reduce dependence on foreign technology. At the time, the Japanese media erupted in celebration. It was praised as the hope of Japan's AI rise, a domestic breakthrough that could challenge overseas dominance, and Japan's own flagship large model. Many Japanese netizens were thrilled. For a brief moment, it seemed like Japan had finally produced a top-tier foundation model it could proudly call its own. Some even began mocking other countries' AI efforts. The hype was enormous. But that entire self-developed AI narrative collapsed in less than 12 hours. As doubts and technical evidence spread rapidly online, the project went from being a symbol of Japan's AI future to one of the industry's biggest controversies. Researchers from the global open-source community quickly began dissecting Rakuten AI 3 after it went live. And on Hugging Face, one of the world's leading open-source AI platforms, they found what many considered direct proof inside the model configuration files. The smoking gun was right there in the code. In the config file, the model type field reportedly showed DeepSeek v3, and the architecture was labeled DeepSeek v3 for causal LM. Even the parameter structure matched China's DeepSeek v3 model, 671 billion total parameters, with 37 billion activated. In other words, this so-called Japanese self-developed large model did not appear to be built from scratch at all. Instead, it seemed to be based on DeepSeek's open-source model, with only limited adaptation for Japanese language use cases and a new brand name slapped on top. And that is exactly why the plagiarism and shell model accusations exploded. What made the situation even more serious, according to critics, was that Rakuten allegedly removed the original MIT open-source license information associated with DeepSeek. The MIT license allows commercial use and modification. But one of the most basic expectations is that the original source be properly acknowledged. Instead, Rakuten was accused of concealing the true technical foundation of the model, making no clear mention of DeepSeek at all, while aggressively marketing the system as a fully homegrown Japanese innovation. That, critics argue, was not just bad optics. It crossed the line on open-source compliance and public trust, especially because the project had also benefited from government subsidies under the banner of domestic independent development. Once the evidence began circulating, public backlash inside Japan escalated quickly. Many Japanese netizens expressed disappointment and anger. A large number of comments focused on wasted subsidies and the issue of honesty. Some reactions followed the same basic logic. Billions of yen in subsidies were spent, and in the end it was just a reskinned overseas model. If you claim it's domestic self-development while hiding the true technical source, that misleads both the industry and the public. We were hoping for a real breakthrough in Japanese AI, but all that's left now is disappointment. A project that had once carried huge national expectations suddenly became a source of embarrassment and distrust. For many people in Japan, this wasn't just about one model. It was about the broader hope that Japan could build its own advanced AI systems and reduce dependence on foreign technology. And when that homegrown breakthrough turned out to look more like a repackaged open-source model, the psychological backlash was huge. Now, some people may say, hold on, isn't it normal to fine-tune open-source models? Yes, absolutely. In the tech world, using an open source base model and adapting it for local use is completely common. That by itself is not the problem. Other Japanese companies have openly used models like Quen or DeepSeek for secondary development, and as long as they clearly disclose the source, most people have no issue with it. But Rakuten, according to the criticism, chose the worst possible path. If the accusations are accurate, then this was not simply a case of using open source technology. It was a case of taking an open source model, disguising it as a fully original domestic product, erasing the source information, and then using the homegrown label to win subsidies and public trust. That is why many people believe this goes far beyond an ordinary technical controversy. To them, this looks less like innovation and more like academic misconduct, branding, deception, and possibly even commercial fraud. Putting emotions aside, there are two deeper issues here that the entire industry should think seriously about. First, Japan has long been seen as a traditional technology powerhouse, a country that places huge value on engineering, craftsmanship, and in-house innovation. If one of its leading companies really did rely on an open-source foreign model while presenting it as a domestic breakthrough, that would reveal not only how far behind Japan may currently be in foundation model development, but also how urgent its desire has become to produce a national AI success story and reduce reliance on overseas technology. Second, the fact that DeepSeek could allegedly be quietly repackaged by a major Japanese company actually says something important about DeepSeek itself. It suggests that DeepSeek has become technically strong enough to serve as a real foundation for global deployment. And that points to a major shift in the AI landscape. Open source models are no longer peripheral players. They are increasingly reshaping the competitive rules of the entire industry. Truly capable technology will be recognized and adopted by the market, no matter where it comes from. Looking back at the broader history of AI development, the industry has already moved from an era where a few players monopolize core technology to a new phase where open ecosystems, collaboration, and competition coexist. Japan, as a traditional technology power, now finds itself in an awkward position. If it really felt forced to package an imported open-source model as a domestic AI flagship, that would reveal both the weakness of its current large model R&D capabilities and the pressure it faces to prove that it can still compete in the global AI race. So in the end, here's what I want to say. Technology has no borders, but industry integrity must have a bottom line. The purpose of open source is to promote sharing, collaboration, and collective progress. It was never meant to become a cover for appropriation, nor a tool for pretending to be self-developed while collecting subsidies and misleading the public. Rakuten's handling of this situation, if the allegations hold true, has not only damaged its own brand, but also hurt the credibility of Japan's broader AI industry. And it should serve as a warning to tech companies everywhere. Real technological strength comes from genuine R&D investment and real breakthroughs, not from rebranding, concealment, and narrative manipulation. Respecting open source rules and being honest about technical gaps is the only sustainable path toward healthy industry development. Now that we've walked through the full story, the core controversy is pretty clear. So what do you think? Was Rakuten's move simply a rushed product mistake made under pressure to deliver results? Or was it a deliberate act of concealment that crossed a regulatory and ethical line? And more broadly, as open source AI becomes more powerful and widely used around the world, how should the industry create clearer rules for attribution, compliance, and transparency? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown objective and informative, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode where we continue unpacking major global tech controversies and industry trends.